Welcome to Speaking of Spirituality, a podcast to share about the path of spiritual awakening. I'm your host, Amelia McLean, and I am so excited to be showcasing some inspiring stories and exploring some interesting topics, all under the umbrella of spirituality. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This week's episode is part 2 of what spiritual awakening means to me. In the first recording that I did about this, I mainly was focusing on the waking up from our hypnosis in our 3D world that we live in. But I realized that I only briefly touched on the spiritual aspect of spiritual awakening. And so I wanted to elaborate on my thoughts and feelings about that aspect, because what happens when you wake up from the hypnotic illusion of the matrix that we live in this world is that you also realize that there's something more out there. Like, if that's not the truth, then what is the truth? And from what I have learned and believe I understand is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so what that means is, when we're stuck in this 3D human world before we're awakened, we think that that's all there is. Like, basically, I remember being taught in school that there's really nothing else out there in the universe, that human beings are the most intelligent life forms, and that's the end of the story, basically. And from what I've learned since waking up, from that basically lie, is that there is so much more going on in the universe. There are many other different species, similar to us, but also very different. And we are all having different experiences. We are all part of spirit. The other thing that we're that is a huge control mechanism that we're all indoctrinated to believe certain things is like about religion. Religion is a huge way that people are controlled in the world, as humans. And either you're religious or you subscribe to, this is what I used to believe, is that either you're religious and you subscribe to a certain large religion around the world, or you are agnostic or atheist and you don't believe in any God or higher power. And I realize now that there's actually another option, in that I don't know what to call that. I guess it would be spiritual. But basically what I've come to realize is that all of the religions are right to some degree. It's actually kind of ironic, because all of the religions think that their God that they're worshiping is the one and only God, right? And that all the other religions are wrong, basically. But that's actually wrong. It's actually that there is actually only one God, and they're all right. They're all worshiping, they're all right in a sense. I don't know, I'm having trouble explaining it, but basically and I went through a phase where I didn't believe in God. I didn't like to even say the word God, and when anybody ever mentioned God, I was very turned off by whatever the person was talking about. And I didn't want anything to do with talking about religion or God. But then when I was in community college, I took a humanities class, and the teacher taught us about religions around the world from a historical perspective. And that was really eye-opening to me and really interesting. And actually, when I started to realize that all the religions are actually talking about the same thing, I think that's what I was trying to say, is that they all think that their God is the one God and that all the other religions are wrong, but they're actually all talking about the same thing. and and there is only one God. But God is not what organized religion wants people to think he is. Religions say God is a man. I used to think, and I think this is a common viewpoint, especially like in Christianity, there's like a man up in the sky, and he is deeming things right and wrong, and punishing people for their sins and all that. But that's not, it's all right to some degree, but it's off by a little bit. There's no man up in the sky. I don't believe that God is a man or woman. I don't think that it's a person. It's what I believe and understand is that it is an energy. It's a consciousness. It is, yeah, infinite intelligence. And so, and I also I don't usually use the word God when I'm talking about it. I say creator or spirit. I say source. I like that word a lot, source. But yeah, everything came from this source energy, this God, this divine spirit, this creator. And so everything and everyone is a little piece of that source energy, if that makes sense. We all have source energy in us because everything came from source. So that's what I'm talking about that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. I believe that we all have a soul, and I believe every living thing has a soul. Plants have souls. Even things that are not living but that are like connected to nature, like rocks have souls, believe it or not. I believe there's an energy. So yeah, so we as humans, we are a spirit. So when I say spiritual being, I mean we are a spirit, and aka soul. And so when I say we are a spirit, that is because we are part of spirit, which is creator that I'm talking about. So we are a piece of spirit. That's why we call ourselves spirits. And when I say spirit, I'm not talking about like a ghost that's a person that died. I'm talking about how everybody that is alive has a spirit, and that's part of who you are. That actually is who you are. It gets really complicated, but basically, another thing that I realized is that so we are spirits, souls that incarnate here on earth, and when we do that, we are carrying with us our soul's memory of everything else that has ever happened to us as a soul in other lifetimes as humans, but also off planet, other life forms. And we also have part of us that is attached to this lifetime as a human, and I believe that is our ego. I don't think that our ego is attached to our spirit, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like a separate thing, and it's like you merge with that part of you for this lifetime that you're incarnated in this human body for this lifetime. I hope that makes sense. And I haven't confirmed that, but it was like what I felt like was a download or like a message that I received one day. It was like, yeah, there's our soul, which is like who we for sure are. Like that is the truth of who we are outside of this human experience in this lifetime. But there's also this aspect of us that we utilize, I guess, like during this life, which is our ego, which is attached to this human body. I think that's how it works. So yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about, was the spiritual aspect of waking up, spiritual awakening. You know, once we wake up from the illusion of this matrix and this human 3D reality, we realize that there's so much more that is true than what we've been shown, than what we've been told, than what we've been made to believe. And that is that we are a fractal of source energy. We are a soul. We are a spiritual being having a human experience. And yeah, there's a lot more to it than that. I believe that each soul has a mission, and we choose to incarnate here on earth to fulfill part of our mission. I think each lifetime has its own individual mission, or like major lesson that is to be learned, and that includes like your biggest teaching. I think that's where your biggest teaching comes from. Your biggest gift that you give to the world comes out of your biggest life lesson that you're here to learn. But I also think that our soul has an overarching mission that is like for the lifetime of your soul. And there's lots of different soul missions that have been categorized by different people. And I think I'm going to make another episode where I talk just about that. But yeah, I think that there are a lot of people that are incarnating here on earth at this time. Well, the people who have just recently incarnated, and people that are older too, but basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people who have a mission, who came here to earth at this time to assist in this ascension process. They have come here, super high vibrational beings that have come here to assist in the ascension process, which is the spiritual awakening process that everyone is going through. And I know for sure I'm here to do that. That's my soul's mission. And the way that I know that is just by pure inner knowing, just resonating really hardcore with that. And when I heard that talked about by somebody else, it just rang true in my heart. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but so that's how I know that. And Yeah, I think there are a lot of other people that are here doing that now. And the people that are being born right now, including my baby, a lot of them are here to help with that process as well, but also to help build the new earth, which is another aspect of spiritual awakening, I believe, is um, the spiritual awakening process that we're all going through, the ascension of this planet, the raising of the vibration of the planet. That's what's happening, is the planet is ascending, and that means the vibration is raising, and the planet is Mother Earth is going through the process of switching from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And there are many other dimensions as well, but um, so we have to raise our vibration in order to shift with her. That's what's going on, and we're needing to create a new Earth, and that doesn't mean a physical new planet. I don't believe it's like an energetic new planet. It's like she's getting a makeover. She's getting glowed up. She is everything that is of the old Earth is falling away and needs to fall away. It needs to be revised and reformed in order to make way for the new Earth. For example, as I talked about in the last episode about spiritual awakening, I mentioned how I was going to be a public elementary educator, and I realized that that was not the place for me to be when I went through my spiritual awakening. I think in retrospect now, that partially was because that system is gonna be removed and gonna be revised. Maybe it's not gonna completely fall away and be rebuilt, but maybe it's gonna be transformed from the inside. I'm not sure how it's gonna look, but what I do know is that, especially, and I'm sure this is happening everywhere, but where I live in Humboldt County, there's a lot of new types of schools that are starting up. People are starting homeschool co-ops, and basically people are leaving the school system and finding new ways, or they're just not even putting their kids into the school system at all to begin with, which is what I'm gonna do. So that's like the 3D versus the 5D, the old Earth versus the new Earth. The old Earth would be the public education system. The new Earth would be the homeschool co-ops and those types of things. So, yeah, it's a big topic. There's a lot to cover and so much more that I could talk about. But yeah, definitely more to come. Maybe there will be a part 3 to what does spiritual awakening mean to me, because I also just keep discovering more aspects and more things to bring to light. But yeah, another thing that I mentioned a little bit of last time that I wanted to touch on again and in more depth is about energy and energetic vibration. And so, because everything is energy, part of my spiritual awakening process, when I realized that, was understanding that I have a duty to fulfill. I need to do things in my life that raise my vibration. And that automatically means that things that are no longer in alignment with this new version of myself are going to fall away. People that I was friends with are no longer going to resonate with me anymore. And I have to be okay with that. And it is okay. It's actually good because, I want to be, well, for one, it makes way for new people who are in alignment with me and match my vibration to come in. And that's exactly what happened when I started leading the moon circles that I felt called to do during the pandemic. The people that I attracted to the circles were soul sisters. They were all a beautiful reflection of me, and just, we have so many similar, they are for sure my soul family. And it's just such a beautiful thing. So yeah, and the job that I had at the school system, that fell away, made way for me to come into something new, to you know um do my mission work, my soul's mission work. And yeah, so, and everything has vibration, so I had to change things about all aspects of my life, and I'm still working on it all the time. I definitely am not perfect. I have lots of healing to do still, and it's a journey. Like, just because I went through my spiritual awakening doesn't mean I'm done evolving. Like, it's a never ending journey. I'm still healing, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. I'm always looking for the next thing to work on and to grow through. And yeah, and then the other thing that I learned, that really is a huge part of it too, is about, that I mentioned a little bit in the first episode, I talked about this, but it's about how we're all creating our own reality. And I think I was focusing more on like how, because of that, we are being used to create our collective reality, with the other human beings on the planet. But we're all individually creating our own reality, and this is actually the gateway to creating your dream life and to creating the new earth, is stepping away from the matrix 3D reality and saying, what do I want for my life? What is my most aligned, most highest vibrational life? What does that look like for me? And it's different for everybody. For example, for me, that looks like me doing yoga, meditating every single day. Ideally, more than once a day. Right now, I have a 2-year-old and I'm a stay-at-home mom. That's very challenging to accomplish. But that's what it would look like for me if I was living my most highest vibrational aligned life every day. Yoga, meditation. I'd be eating all organic, whole foods, right? And I'm, definitely, like I said, not perfect in that department either. But we do try to eat as much organic food as possible, and obviously whole foods are best. Specifically living foods, things that are as fresh as possible, have the most life force energy. That could be a whole nother episode. Maybe I'll do one about that. Anyway, so my highest vibrational life, yoga, meditation every day, organic whole foods only, speaking from my heart to the people that I care about, and everybody for that matter. I might do a whole nother episode about this, but I don't lie. Let's say this, I do my best to tell the truth all the time. And because it's good for me and it's good for everybody else. Lying isn't good for anybody. Anyway, boy, all of these things could be a whole episode. And what else does my most ideal, highest vibe life look like? Doing my passion projects all the time. Like, whatever brings me the most joy and love and happiness and fills me up with that light inside, that's what I'd be doing all day. For one, taking care of my baby, that for sure was something that I knew I needed to do. I'm not going to send my kid away to daycare to be with somebody else all day. I waited for this child to come for like 13 years. I'm not going to do that. And I know everybody has different situations and people got to do what they got to do with where they're at. Luckily, I was able to be in a position where I can be home with my baby. That also for me looks like crafting. I love to be creative. I love to make stuff, especially sparkly, shiny, glittery stuff. That's my favorite. And so yeah, crafting always going to be a part of my life. If I could craft all day, that would be amazing. And I love to learn. Also, I really love to read. Specifically, I love to read spiritual material. I love to read about things that are going to help me learn and grow and evolve as a soul, as a person. Things that are going to help me be the best version of myself. What else? Yeah, that is pretty much what my highest vibe life would look like. And if everybody around the world was able to think this way and able to do this for themselves and to say, what is in highest alignment for me? What is going to make me feel the best every second of every day? And everybody was to commit to do that, everything would change like that. Everything, I mean, we would be living in the new earth immediately if that were to happen all at once. And I think that that is the slow, gradual process that everyone is going through. People are starting to realize in their 9-to-5 job, man, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's something more that I'm here for. And the questioning, that's how it all starts. The questioning of the system, of the mundane day to day, the stuff you've been doing because you were told to, because you think it's the right thing to do. You start to question and say, seems like there's something else out there. And you explore that even more. Then you go down the rabbit hole. And that's a lot of how people wake up. But yeah, boy, I went on a big long tangent there. But I think I was talking about, how we're creating the new earth, how, about the creation of our own reality. And this is a whole nother episode in itself too, actually. So I'm going to stop there. But yeah, big, broad topics, lots of things to cover. That's all for now. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Speaking of Spirituality. If you'd like to connect with me personally or book a session for Quantum Soul Alchemy, you can find me on Instagram at Ascending with Amelia. Have a beautiful day.